In this video, we are going to begin discussing the order of operations, specifically with integers. The order of operations is an agreed upon order that all of the operations must be completed in. If you do the operations out of order, you will get the wrong answer. Order of operations must always be followed. You've been doing it ever since you started doing math. The operations must be completed in the following order. You can pick a memory device. Some of you have learned PEMDAS, where you do the parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division from left to right, addition or subtraction from left to right. Or you can use GEMMA. That's my favorite one, which is G stands for grouping symbols, exponents, E, M, multiplication or division from left to right, and addition or subtraction from left to right. So now let's put these order of operations into practice. So let's start with this problem. Let's do 175 minus 3 times 6 minus 2. I'm going to write PEMDAS up here on the top, GEMMA. Okay, and I can see that I've got multiplication in there, so I'm actually going to put one of my favorite multiplication and division memory devices in here. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my expression. I'm going to look first for parentheses. I'm going to use PEMDAS. Yes, we have parentheses. Inside the parentheses, I have 6 minus 2, and I can do that without doing any voodoo math. So 6 minus 2 is 4, and then I'm simply going to write everything else that was not worked on that step. I only do one operation at a time. I know I've taken care of my parentheses. Now I do have parentheses here, but that means multiplication. So I'm going to look for exponents. No, I don't have any. And now I'm going to look for multiplication or division from left to right. And as I read the expression, 175 minus 3 times 4, I just said multiplication. So 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to rewrite everything else. When I look at it, I have 175 minus 12. And according to the order of operations, I do addition or subtraction from left to right. And I have 175 minus 12. When I subtract that, I get 163. And that's my answer. Well, let's try another one. Let's do 14 plus 16 divided by 2 times negative 4. This time I'm going to use GEMMA. So first I'm going to look for groupings. And I can see parentheses here, but that means multiplication. So I'm going to skip that. I'm going to look for E, exponents. 14 plus 16 divided by 2 times negative 4. There's no exponents. And now I'm going to look for multiplication or division from left to right. So 14 plus 16 divided by 2. There it is, 16 divided by 2. And that's probably the place most people would make a mistake. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then I'm going to rewrite everything else that was not worked on. 14 plus 8 times negative 4, I can see that there's multiplication in there. So I have 8 times 4 is 32. And it's a positive times a negative, which that tells me positive times a negative. My answer is going to be negative. And I rewrite everything else that has not been worked on. Now I have an addition problem, and I have addition of integers with opposite signs. So I'm going to circle the integer with a larger absolute value, and that's going to remind me of my process for adding integers with opposite signs. I have 32 minus 14. I'm simply going to subtract their absolute values. And there's no signs over here because these are both positive numbers. Absolute values are always positive. 12 minus 4 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 1. My answer is 18. And since this guy is circled, I know that I have negative answer. Let's do one more. Let's do 15 plus 8 divided by 4 plus negative 7. So I'm going to put these down here so you can see them again, gamma. Right? I look for grouping. There's no grouping symbols. I look for exponents. I don't see any exponents. And now M stands for multiplication or division from left to right. So 15 plus 8 divided by 4. I just said division. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then I'm going to rewrite everything else that was not worked on. Now I have all addition. So the order of operations say that I need to do addition or subtraction from left to right. Since it is all addition, the commutative property tells me that I could add in any order, but I'm going to follow the order of operations right now. So 15 plus 2 is 17 plus negative 7. And now I have 17 plus negative 7. And I recognize that is adding integers with the opposite signs. So I'm going to circle my integer with a larger absolute value. And I know that I have to subtract their absolute values over here on the side. So I'm going to get 10, and it is a positive. I hope that helps with following the order of operations.